Gonna hop on here to do one more segment before I sign off for the night. What a day. Donald Trump did hold another event. Yes, if you're counting, this is the third we'll be covering today. And this is in Glendale, Arizona. It is really significant what's going on here. So that's why I want to cover it. And let's just start going through clips. What we'll get into is him bringing RFK Jr. on stage. And that moment is just horrible. But here is first Trump before RFK Jr. came out saying this.
No, they get bored. Like Barack Hussein Obama got far fewer votes the second time, and he won. He won. Have you heard of him? Barack Hussein Obama. Remember Rush Limbaugh? Barack Hussein Obama.
Being out sick the last few days has caused our channel growth to come to a screeching halt. If you want to help jumpstart it back to where it was going before, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button if you haven't already. Easy, free, but makes all the difference. Back to the video.
He was nasty to me. You know, he was nasty. Michelle was nasty. They're all nasty. Nasty people. They were very nasty. I was surprised. I thought he was... And I was sort of nice to him. I said, no, you know, I like him. Good. It didn't matter. They were nasty to me. And
so again, before getting to the really notable part of this speech that we'll talk about, think about that. He said, I was nice to Obama. Donald Trump was the most prominent person spreading the racist lie about Obama not being an American citizen. To be clear, just because he was black or is black. That's the only reason this became a ridiculous theory. The birther movement. Trump was the guy leading that. And he dares to say, I was nice to him. And obviously it's this moment that triggered Trump.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Yeah, so just iconic there. But that's obviously what triggered Trump. And then moving from that, and this is the real significant part, then we'll get back to Trump just speaking by himself. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced, as we talked about in a different segment, that he's endorsing Trump, throwing his weight behind Trump. The reporting is that they made some deal to get RFK Jr. a position in Trump's administration if he were to win. I can't overstate how significant this is. Kennedy, with the Kennedy name and the legacy that goes along with that, how globally horrifying this is. To see someone with that legacy who first ran the Democratic Party, then ran as an independent, has just been spiraling out of control, and is now endorsing Trump just because he's so hungry for power. It's disturbing to see. This is the embodiment of narcissism and a hunger for power beyond anything else. For him to try to get from Kamala Harris's campaign the same deal. So horrifying as it gets, to me, it bothers my mind because I can't get my head around why you would be willing to truly have no principles. He offered to both Kamala Harris and to Donald Trump to do a deal where he endorses them. But they're so different. How could you put your support behind either? That doesn't make any sense. So that's what really sticks with me here, and it makes it hard for me, like I said, to get my head around it. But also, this is a really sort of election rocking type of move, because he was polling a pretty significant amount for some time, and presumably him throwing his support behind Trump could sway the election for Trump. The hopeful element, so that is the scary significance of this. The hopeful element is that now that Kamala Harris is the candidate, what we're seeing in the polls is that it doesn't seem like RFK Jr.'s decision here is as consequential as it would have been. And so it looks like we're still in a solid place, but still a massive decision. Here's him going out on stage. And I'm seeing so many people respond online just in horror. People who knew him personally, too. RFK Jr., that is. Who had some respect for him. Obviously, he kind of went into the anti-vax stuff. But at other parts, he's done environmentalism. And his family is just disgusted by this. Has spoken out against him. Crazy. Before getting back to the Trump rally, here to give you an example of what MAGA used to say about RFK Jr., now they love him. This was Sean Hannity.
RFK Jr. Now, this is the same guy that wants to eliminate all drilling, all fracking. He endorsed Bernie Sanders' climate plan called he called the NRA a, quote, terrorist group. He wants to transform police. He's praised the radical, rabid, anti-Semite and racist Louis Farrakhan. He endorsed, Al Gore, John Kerry, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and claimed the 2004 election was stolen. Worst of all, he actually blamed America for Osama bin Laden's terror attacks on a radio show he co-hosted in 2014.
Yeah, so now they're all about RFK Jr. If you support Trump, that's all they need. A few clips from this.
We've been a little bit on the opposite side of the equation, but I will say this. He is a brilliant, I still think of him as young. He's not that young. I always call him young, but he's not that young. But we've been a little bit on the opposite.
Gosh. Seeing him stand there, just so y'all know, it's not because I ever supported him. Y'all have seen my long history of seeing through the ridiculousness of this campaign, and it was always risky in its ability to help Trump. He's always shown himself not to be a critical thinker or be wise in his political stances because of the conspiracy theories and the policy incoherence and the anti-vax, anti-science stuff. So it's not that I'm going, I'm personally offended because I was a supporter. But I've known people, as I've mentioned to you, who saw him as a good alternative, and I've convinced those people out of it. But I know there's other good faith, sweet, honest people who just thought, I don't know, he's sort of he's a Kennedy. And to see him so maliciously, cynically, doing something he knows, based on the past things he said politically, he knows Trump would be a bad president just because he wants power. Again, that's what's just disturbing to me, seeing people and knowing that this is a way that people approach the world, where they just throw principles in the garbage. How do you engage with that? Here's RFK Jr.
And he told me that he wanted to end the censorship because the whole basis of American democracy is the free flow of information. And we know that a government that can silence its opponents has license for any kind of atrocity.
Yeah, so that's why you're supporting the person who said the government should come down hard on media outlets he doesn't like. He posted that on Truth Social. We've shown the post a gazillion times. That's the person. That's the person who's going to stop censorship. The person who says the press, because they report on things he doesn't like, are criminals who should have licenses revoked. He says this explicitly, and Asen pointed out, the person who posted this clip, no mention of the attempts to remove Chrissy Teigen's tweet labeling him a PAB. You might remember the Trump administration did the very thing that they said was this horrible proof of censorship of the Biden administration, which is just sending messages to social media outlets going, hey, any chance this violates your terms of service and you would take it down. And then often the social media outlets go, no, it doesn't violate, so we're not going to. And then the government goes, okay. If there were coercion, all right, then we have a conversation, but just request. And Trump did that with the P-word, ass, B-word, Chrissy Teigen post. So that's a small, funny example, but there's the bigger ones that I mentioned. And he's the person who's going to end censorship. You're bending yourself into pretzels RFK Jr. because you're salivating for power. Have some integrity. Then he said this.
And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
Yes. So let's listen to RFK Jr., who rejects vaccine science. That'll make us healthier. Vaccines that have saved literally millions upon millions upon millions of lives because of their ability to keep people and make people healthier. So one of the things that RFK Jr. talks a lot about is addressing the unhealthy, the issues with a lack of health that we have in the United States. That's totally something we need to address. There are things in our food that should not be allowed in our food. There are levels of sugar we should not be allowing in our drinks. I'm totally on board with that. First of all, Trump's all about deregulation. So he would deregulate so corporations can make more money by getting us eating foods we shouldn't and super processed things we shouldn't have in our body. Trump would enable that, RFK Jr. And so that's number one. And also, you don't have any credibility talking about these things. If you weren't so anti-science, then maybe we could engage on these subjects. But you're the wrong person to engage on them with. I didn't realize how much this was going to get under my skin. But the thing is scary because he was polling sometimes 10, 12, 14%. And if that chunk in a state went to Trump, that would decide an election. Again, I'm hopeful that enough of those people were just sort of, I don't like either, and we'll go to Kamala Harris. We're already seeing that. Since it switched from Biden to Kamala Harris, we're already seeing a lot of those people go to Kamala Harris instead of RFK Jr. So I am very hopeful and not panicking or anything. But it is, again, a monumental decision, given that even a small percentage of people taking RFK Jr.'s advice and supporting Trump could swing the election. Then we get back to Trump just doing his normal rantings.
And nobody lies like her. She's a liar. She makes up crap. She's the one going to raise. She said, Donald Trump is going to raise. You know why? She said I was going to raise it. Because I'm going to put tariffs on other countries coming into our country. And that has nothing to do with taxes to us. That's a tax on another country.
He just doesn't understand how tariffs work. Or he's lying about them. Either way, that's the age-old question with much of what Trump says. Confused or I should say dishonest or delusional. That's the game you can play with him. U.S. companies pay those tariffs. No matter how many times you repeat otherwise, it's not going to become true.
How about her opening where she said, thank you, 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 thank you. I said, what the hell is wrong with her, Deb?
Yeah, you've never had a crowd cheer for that long for you, I guess, where you just have to stand there and keep saying thank you because of how excited they are to see you. And he said this.
Knows her. She's she's never had a problem. She's solid as a rock. This guy is a freaking loser.
There he's talking about Kari Lake's opponent, Ruben Gallego, who come November is going to be a winner, I'll say. And this too.
He shouldn't be allowed to even run in this election against her because Kari Lake is incredible. She's incredible.
He shouldn't be allowed to run against her. I think he should, but okay. There's more, but you get the point. A really shocking and horrible turn of events where RFK Jr. is supporting Trump. We'll see how the polling shakes up after this. I'm pretty confident still. Based on what we've seen recently, his support just dropped to the floor since Kamala Harris got in. Because people wanted an alternative to Trump or Biden, and then Kamala Harris became that. And so people just shifted over there. And I think that's why he's doing this, because he realized, all right, now I'm just going to be nothing in this election. So I might as well get a position in administration. The good thing is, and this is where justice will prevail, if we win in November, he'll get nothing. He'll get no position in any administration, and we'll have torched his legacy. The only thing I feel bad about is how this dents the Kennedy legacy, but they've done a great job of speaking up in favor of democracy. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments. If you want to support this show, you can do that by clicking the join button below, and I am going to go to sleep.